The movie kicks off with a guy nicknamed Clean. He's a garbage collector, spending his days hauling trash through rough neighborhoods controlled by shady gangsters. After his shift, Clean scavenges anything he thinks he can repair and sell, dropping the goods off at a secondhand shop run by an old buddy. Clean's life hasn't been easy. His marriage is long over, and the pain of losing his daughter to illness haunts him. He carries that guilt everywhere. To ease the burden a little, he keeps an eye out for his teenage neighbor Diana. She lives with her grandma, Ethel, and doesn't have much family left. Clean tries to do right by her, maybe to make up for the daughter he couldn't save. Meanwhile, somewhere else in town, a guy named Michael is waiting outside a prison for his son, Mikey, to be released. Mikey, however, blows off his dad and hops into a car with his buddies. Michael's frustrated, but he lets it slide. That night, while doing his rounds, Clean notices Michael and some goons hanging around Michael's restaurant, acting super shady. They're carrying guns, but Clean keeps his head down and minds his own business. It turns out Michael isn't just running a restaurant. He's heavily involved in smuggling drugs from China. The drugs arrive hidden inside fish, and Michael preps them for sale afterward. Michael's in a foul mood because a recent shipment didn't go as planned, and he's taking a financial hit. The next day, Clean sees Diana walking to school. She explains that the school bus isn't running anymore, and her grandma's car is out of commission. Without a second thought, Clean offers to give her a ride. Later, he secretly leaves an old bicycle, one that belonged to his daughter, in front of Diana's house. Ethel finds out and confronts Clean, asking why he's so invested in helping Diana. He admits he's trying to redeem himself, to shake off the guilt that's eating him alive. Ethel sees his heart is in the right place and tells him he's a good guy. Back to Michael. He's still having issues with his suppliers, and his frustration boils over when another shipment goes sideways. In a fit of rage, he beats one of the couriers to death, leaving his son Mikey stunned and terrified by the violence. That night, Clean's on his usual garbage run when he comes across something nasty, blood and a god-awful smell coming from Michael's trash. Before he can figure out what's going on, Michael shows up and offers Clean money to take care of it. Clean flat out refuses. He wants no part of Michael's mess and gets back to his route. One day, Clean's truck breaks down. As he's figuring things out, he notices a guy being chased by some thugs. The poor guy gets cornered and beaten up. Clean tries to step in, but one of the thugs sneaks up on him and knocks him out cold. When Clean comes to, he's in a hospital bed. The doctor warns him that his head injury is serious, but Clean ignores the advice and heads home. On his way, he spots Diana hanging out with a group of troublemakers. Concerned, he tells her to go home. She snaps back, reminding him he's not her dad, but after some hesitation, she decides to listen. Her delinquent friends aren't thrilled, and they push Clean around before letting her go. Later, Michael and Mikey are having a blowout argument over dinner. Michael wants his son to get involved in the family's drug business, but Mikey just wants to live his own life. Things get so heated that Mikey pulls a knife on his dad before storming out of the house. Meanwhile, Clean finds Diana's bike outside an abandoned house. This place is known as a hangout for the local delinquents. Alarm bells go off, and Clean goes inside. What he sees makes his blood boil. Diana is being forced to take drugs and drink alcohol while the kids harass her. In this part of the story, things take a dark turn. The group of troublemaking teens didn't just mess with Diana. They recorded everything, planning to share it with their buddies. Without a second thought, Clean grabbed a metal pipe and went full-on vigilante, knocking them all down one by one. When the dust settled, Clean realized he had seriously hurt Mikey, Michael's son, who was now bleeding and in bad shape. He quickly got Diana out of there before the cops or Michael could catch up to him. Mikey ended up in the hospital for several days. When he was finally discharged, the doctor gave Michael some bad news. While Mikey's body would heal, his face was permanently messed up. The only way to fix it was plastic surgery. To make matters worse, Mikey's vocal cords were damaged, meaning he'd never talk normally again unless they operated quickly. But Michael, bitter and cold-hearted, decided to leave Mikey in that condition, figuring it was payback for his son's constant disobedience. Soon after, a cop named Frank showed up at Michael's place. He told Michael about a video the police had found, clearly showing Clean as the guy who beat up Mikey. Knowing Clean's connection to Diana and her grandma, Michael ordered Frank to take them out and bring Clean back alive. Clearly, Michael had the local police in his pocket and used them to do his dirty work. Meanwhile, Clean, aware that Michael was plotting his revenge, decided it was time to get Diana and her grandma out of town. They hopped in the car, trying to make a clean getaway. But just as they thought they were in the clear, a police car rolled up behind them, lights flashing. Clean briefly considered surrendering to keep Diana and her grandma safe. But then he realized these cops were working for Michael, so he floored it and sped away. After a narrow escape, Clean stopped at a small diner. While Diana and her grandma went to the restroom, Clean broke into a nearby parked car, planning to switch vehicles and throw off anyone tailing them. But Michael's thugs spotted his old car and swarmed the place. Diana and her grandma saw the gangsters coming and tried to find a way out. Clean, sensing trouble, slipped in through the back and took down a few of Michael's guys without breaking a sweat. He eventually found Diana and her grandma hiding in a storage room. They had just seen Clean go full assassin mode, so he finally confessed the truth. He used to be a hitman, a cold-blooded killer. After his daughter's death, he gave up that life and took the quiet job of a garbage man to stay under the radar. Once he got Diana and her grandma to a safe spot, Clean went back to his place to gather supplies and cash. He then swung by his friend's shop to stock up on weapons, ready to face Michael head-on. At the same time, Frank filled Michael in on Clean's background, revealing that Clean wasn't just any guy. He was a notorious assassin known as the Angel of Death. Michael knew Clean was coming for him, so he rallied his goons and armed them to the teeth. On the other side, Clean prepped his own gear, modifying weapons and getting ready for the showdown. Once he was set, he jumped into his garbage truck and headed straight for Michael's mansion. Without any warning, Clean rammed the truck right into the house. The power went out instantly, plunging everything into darkness, but Clean thrived in the dark. He moved like a shadow, effortlessly taking out Michael's men one by one. When Clean finally tracked down Michael, the crime boss sprang out from a hiding spot, and the two of them brawled fiercely. But Clean was stronger and quickly took Michael down. Just as he was about to end Michael, Mikey appeared, pointing a gun straight at Clean. Michael's eyes lit up, thinking his son would finish Clean off. But instead, Mikey turned the gun on his father and shot him dead. Mikey then tried to shoot Clean, but the gun clicked. It was out of bullets. Clean was left standing, alive and free. The movie wraps up with Diana riding her bike through streets that were once terrorized by gangs and crime. Everything's peaceful now. She stops for a moment and smiles as Clean's garbage truck rolls by. The quiet, broken man who saved her is still there, doing his job, finally finding a bit of peace. That's the story for now. Thanks for watching, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a great day.